And we're going to do this a little bit different today, but we're going to just talk about strategies and ways of like not putting you to sleep. And we definitely want to keep you awake, better than that economics teacher you had in school. So I'm your host, Jesse Abshire, and today we're going to be diving into something that could seriously shift your future. And we're going to say that could be your 401k. So take a minute now before you glaze over and start scrolling TikTok. Stick with me. It's going to be a good one. Okay. So this isn't just dry numbers, right? We're talking about how to put more money into your future self's pockets with few smart moves that you could start today. And in essence of that, today's episode, we're gonna say is add fuel to your 401k balance. Because let's face it, some of our retirement plans are running on fumes. They really are. And I think we can fix it. So let's wake up your 401k. It doesn't have to be on autopilot. Let's get real. Like most people are auto enrolled into their company's 401k at what? 3 to 5%, whatever that like nationwide average match is. And while that's nice, a nudge in the right direction, it's kind of like ordering a salad at a burger joint, right? You're trying, but you're not going all in, right? I think we could agree there. So step one, I want to at least at a very, very minimum, let's look at going to the match that your employer offers, right? Whatever that is, let's at least get there, right? Every time you get a raise, let's go into HR and maybe adjust that accordingly so that as you're kind of making more money, your contribution is also kind of going up a little bit. Everybody's like, whoa, why, Jesse? Why do we want to do this? Because you're not going to miss it. And future you is actually going to be pretty thrilled. And, I'm a big fact checker, right? Everybody knows proper nerd kind of works over here, right? So in 2025, contribution limits were $23,500 if you were under 50. If you're 50 or older, tack on an extra $7,500 for catch-up. If you're between 60 and 63, thanks to the Secure Act 2.0, you might be eligible for a special $11,250 catch-up. That's right, $11,250. The IRS is basically saying, hey, we know you slacked off in your 40s. Here's your second chance. Next, let's talk about your employer match. If your job offers a 401k match and you're contributing enough to get all of it, we're kind of turning down free money. We want the match. That's like skipping the guac when it actually doesn't cost you extra. You're paying for the meal or the bowl anyway. So let's get the most out of it, right? And before you jump ship to a new job, look at your vesting schedule. If you leave before you're fully vested, you might be walking away from thousands of dollars that your employer has contributed to your retirement accounts. And imagine working hard for your money and then just leaving it in your ex's job's junk drawer. Nobody wants to do that. All right, here we go. So 401k, no-nos, and avoiding those sneaky pitfalls because we all know they exist. It's just not everybody wants to come out here and talk about them the way that I would. And we're dropping mics. That's okay. That's going to be on the blooper reel later. Here we go. Next time, things can get quietly sabotaged towards your retirement. First pitfall, we're going to say that's cashing out early. Sure, it's tempting when life throws curveballs, but I've talked about this in the past. Unless it is an absolute emergency, don't touch this thing before you're 59 and a half if you're taking a direct draw. You'll pay regular income tax plus a 10% penalty for early withdrawal. It's kind of like borrowing from your future. And while you do that, you're paying interest to Uncle Sam. No thanks. That's not a good trade-off for me, right? And unless it's an emergency, don't let it be a good one for you. And second pitfall that I see often is just not doing a proper rollover, right? If you switch jobs, don't let your old 401k just kind of sit back there and gather dust, or worse, cash it out. Do a direct rollover to a qualified IRA or some type of new plan. Direct, you can do it, no taxes, no penalties, right? No oopsies, just a clean move. And pitfall 3, don't ignore the fees, right? You might not see them, but those little management fees can eat up your returns alive over decades. Take time to review your investments with your financial professional. Think of it like spring cleaning, but for your money. And then pitfall 4, bad diversification. So a bunch of accounts at different brokerages is not diversification. If you own all the same stuff, you're not diversified. You're just owning the same stuff at different people's houses. You're just disorganized, okay? Instead, diversify inside your portfolio, different asset classes, country, emerging markets, company sizes, different risk levels, and finally, have a plan for RMDs or required minimum distributions. Prior to the age of 73, the IRS says it's time to start withdrawing from your 401k or qualified accounts at 73. And if you don't, penalties. A stiff 25% penalty. Nobody wants to do that. So if you're not actively planning for RMDs ahead of 73, we don't really have a plan to pull this money out until we have to. And often we get clients in here that have completely forgot. And now we're trying to, help offset some of these fees that they might have incurred. Some of them may or may not be in the window where we get to offset them. But at the end of the day, don't just plan to retire. Plan to retire strategically. Now, the power couple, 401k plus IRA. People ask all the time, can I have a 401k and an IRA? Well, yeah. Heck yeah, you can, and you probably should. So here's the deal, right? A 401k is an employer-sponsored high contribution limit account, and IRA is an individual, more flexible, but lower contribution limits. In 2025, IRA contribution limits under 50 is $7,000 a year, $8,000 age 50 and above. You want to turbocharge that? If you're self-employed or run a small business, look at SEP, self-employed IRA or a simple IRA. SEP IRAs contribute up to 25% of income, maxing at $70,000 or $77,500 with catch-ups. Simple IRA are employer match 3% or do a 2% for all employees. Employees can contribute $16,500 plus an extra $3,500 if they're in catch-up. So just like your 401k, IRAs can go up and down with the market. No magical bubble wrap here. That's why regular reviews and diversifications matter. Right? We can't just sit everything into passive management and kind of hope for the best. We want to be strategical, sometimes even tactical. And yes, you can roll your 401k IRA without penalties. Just do a direct rollover, right? Letting the check land in your bank account starts a 60-day countdown before taxes and penalty. So in summary here, let's maximize the 401k and IRA. It's not about hitting the lottery here, okay? It's about consistent, strategic choices over an extended period of time with some discipline, like turning your retirement account from a dusty gas, needs a little work to a jet engine. If you want help figuring out these next steps, you can give us a call, 775-444-9335, or you can visit the website, www.abshirefamilyfinancial.com. And you can also listen to all of the Volatile Vet podcasts through volatilevet.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. But let's fuel up your future, okay? You've worked too hard to coast into retirement on empty. And until next time, take care. Keep that financial engine running.